All right, let me go down this list. All right, hip drop tackles ban, the swivel. I don't even know what that is. Another Peacock game. Oh, that's great. We're playing 2 games on Christmas now on Wednesday. Oh, fantastic. Just so I want to spend my holiday. Oh, man. Oh, would you look at that? Finally, a rule change that doesn't stink. Welcome everybody to JG9 News, where we talk all things NFL all the time. I'm Jerry Gear, and I represent the 904 from the 602, and today we are talking about one of the rule changes for the 2024 NFL season that got passed. A lot of stuff that came out at the meetings this week in Orlando. There's going to be tons of content today and tomorrow and Thursday on that, so be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss a moment of the action. We're going to have about 7 or 8 or 10 videos. It's going to be absolutely hectic. But one of the rule changes that did get passed that I want to talk about today is a new change to the instant replay and the challenge system. Before, you got 2 challenges per game, and only if you got both of those challenges right did you get a 3rd challenge. Now, the rule has changed because the Detroit Lions submitted a proposal, much like last year, that gives you a 3rd challenge if you get one of the first 2 right. It didn't pass last year, but it passed this year. This, according to PrideOfDetroit.com, per the NFL Competition Committee Chairman Rich McKay, the vote to change this rule barely passed. In order for a rule to be adopted, at least 3/4 of the owners, 24 out of 32, need to vote in favor. So barely passed, but it did pass, unlike last year, and that means that this will be in place for the 2024 season. So what this means is that you could get the first challenge wrong, you get the second challenge right. Under the previous rule, you would be out of challenges. Now, you get that 3rd challenge. Now, what was the impetus in all likelihood for this change? My guess is that it was the Bills-Steelers wildcard round game. If you remember that game, the Buffalo Bills won, but it was highly controversial in terms of how they won and the officiating, because the Bills lost both of their challenges 13 minutes into the game. The first challenge that Sean McDermott made was successful. The Bills thought they had a fumble recovery by Terrell Bernard. The referee said no, it wasn't a fumble. The Bills challenged it. They were right. It got overturned. So now the Bills had 1 challenge left, and they decided to use it later in that first quarter, which was unsuccessful. The Bills thought that Pat Freiermuth fumbled and that the Bills recovered in downs, and I think a lot of us thought that he did. Controversially, the refs said no, it's still Pittsburgh ball. The Bills challenged it, highly controversial again. Bills lost a timeout. The ruling on the field stood. The Bills now had no challenges left. That was in a playoff game. There were a lot of eyeballs on that one. Again, that was a very highly viewed playoff game because that was on a Monday, on Martin Luther King Day, national holiday. Very highly viewed playoff game, and that drew a ton of controversy. The fact that 13 minutes into a playoff game, even though the Bills were successful on one of their challenges, they now were out of challenges for the final 3 quarters of the game. And we've seen plenty of instances over the past season, and over the last decade for that matter, of teams not having any challenges going into the 4th quarter. This should at least change that. Now, it is interesting that the Lions were the team to propose this rule, because this didn't impact the Lions in the slightest bit. Usually when a rule change is proposed, it's proposed by a team that got screwed over by a rule. As an example, look at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts proposed a rule this year. It didn't pass, but they proposed a rule trying to make all penalties reviewable inside the final 2 minutes of each half after what happened in that Colts-Browns game. For those who don't remember, Colts-Browns, horrible pass interference call that went against them at the end of that game resulted in the Colts losing, and eventually they missed the playoffs by 1 game. Not saying that was the end-all be-all, because obviously there was that whole controversy in the Colts-Texans game where they completely botched that 4th down play and the timeout management by Shane Steichen at the end. I'm not sure what that was. So it wasn't the sole reason they missed the playoffs, but it definitely didn't help because the Browns, now instead of having the ball at the 8-yard line, had the ball at the 1-yard line, punched it in, scored the game-winning touchdown with about 30 seconds left. The Lions, though, were not screwed by this. The Lions were not screwed in the slightest bit by this. They were 0 for 4 on challenges this season. They never challenged 2 plays in a game. Campbell has only used 2 challenge flags once in his 4 seasons as a head coach. Now, one of them was in Miami as an interim, so really 3 seasons with the Detroit Lions. But still, Campbell's lost his last 5 challenges and 8 of his last 10 dating back to 2021. This is not a challenge-heavy coach. This is not a challenge-heavy team. It's not a guy that's very good at challenges. It's not a guy that likes throwing the challenge flag multiple times in a game. So the Lions were the ones to propose this rule, even though they haven't been impacted by this in the slightest bit. But I do like this rule a lot. I've been saying for a while, this should be the rule. There is no reason why you should be punished for a referee's mistake. If there's something that you need to challenge, you throw the challenge flag, you get it right, you should not lose the challenge. You should be allowed 2 unsuccessful challenges a game. Now, this is not 2 unsuccessful challenges a game. It's 2 challenges and you get a third if you get one of them right, but it is pretty similar because you might be saying, why isn't it that? Why isn't it 2 unsuccessful challenges? Well, here's why. No team has ever gone 3 for 3 on challenges before. There has never been a situation in the history of the NFL that a team challenged something the first time, got it right. A team challenged something the second time, got it right. A team challenged something a third time because they got that third challenge and they got it right. No team has ever gone 3 for 3 on challenges before. A lot of rules come from circumstance. Again, the Bills-Steelers game probably was the impetus to this. Look at when they reviewed pass interference penalties. What was the impetus to that? That was Saints-Rams NFC Championship in the previous season. Once a team gets screwed by this rule and they need to challenge something a 4th time, but they are unsuccessful, but they can't do it because they lost all their challenges, once that happens, then we might see a change to 2 unsuccessful challenges. But there's no need for that to be the rule right now. I get why it's not, because again, it has never happened before in the NFL. The moment a team goes 3 for 3 and they get screwed, or even 2 for 3 and they get screwed, they might change the rule again to make it 2 unsuccessful challenges, especially if it comes in a playoff game. Again, we saw the change in the overtime rules after what happened in the Bills-Chiefs playoff game the year before, where each team now gets a possession. And a lot of rule change come from circumstance. And we haven't seen a situation where a team has gone 3 for 3 before and then needs to challenge something for a 4th time and they get screwed over. So the moment that happens again, I think they could change the rule again. But this is a nice change. I really like this rule a lot. I've said for a while now that you should not be punished for a referee's mistake. If you need to challenge something in the first half, you shouldn't have to debate, okay, I know we're going to win this call, but if I win this call, I'm not going to have any challenge flags for the second half. This at least eliminates that, which I am really, really happy about. Really, really excited about this rule going forward. I'm not sure how often it's going to be in play, but it is a necessary change that I've been advocating for quite some time in some capacity, and the Lions have come to the rescue by proposing this great rule. Now, there are some other rules that we're going to talk about, some I like, some I don't like, that got proposed and that passed, some that failed that I wish ended up passing. A lot of stuff that happened during the owners' meetings in Orlando, so again, be sure that you are on this channel because we're going to talk about all those in the coming days. But that is going to do it for this episode of JG9 News. What are your thoughts on this rule? Do you like the rule? Do you not like the rule? Do you think it should be 2 unsuccessful challenges? Do you think this is fine enough? What are your thoughts on the challenge system, instant replay in general? Again, let me know everything down below, and be sure to like and subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. And be sure to check out my main channel, JaguarGator9, where we talk all things NFL history all the time. Until next time, this is JaguarGator9 signing off, and as always, go Jags.